good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Good. Right. Okay. I've been told to record this, so let me. Oh no, it's recording already, so that's good. That's good. Right. So I've got quite a lot to cover, and I'm going to make you work quite hard in this as well. So if you want to escape, now's your chance to do that. So I'll just get started. Okay. So welcome. Thanks for joining me. I think you all know me, but just in case there's somebody maybe watching the recording who doesn't, I'm Jackie. I'm a therapist and coach, and one of the things I do is to help business owners feel more confident and thrive both personally and in their businesses. And what I'm going to do today is to share with you one of my favorite techniques that I use all the time with clients in all sorts of situations. And we'll look in particular at how using your ancestral memory can make you happier and more successful. So first up, what is ancestral memory? Well, there's a theory and a growing body of evidence that just as we inherit biological characteristics like eye colour, hair colour from our parents, grandparents, and all the ancestors who've gone before us, we can also inherit psychological traits as well. And these psychological traits will include beliefs, attitudes, fears, and strengths. And it's possible that they're passed on because they increase our resilience or make us alert to danger and make our survival more likely. And trauma in particular has been shown to affect DNA and brain structure through the generations. Experiments in animals have shown that the descendants of mice trained to fear a certain smell or experience an electric shock in some parts of their cage will show signs of anxiety when confronted with the same smell or near the same place in the cage, even though the initial experiences happened before they were born, way in the past. And that there are, in the resources, there are some articles that you can look at which talk more about this. So that may explain some behaviours, traits, attitudes and beliefs that you have that maybe you can't understand or you're not sure where they came from. It could be from somebody in your distant past. So Terence Watts, who is an eminent therapist, took the ideas behind evolutionary psychology, as it's called, and came up with 3 sets of core skills that we inherited from our ancestors and that we can use every day. We all have a unique mix of these core skills, and that means that we can tap into them whenever we want to. But the trouble is that we don't always realise that they're there. Now, I'm aware some people won't buy this as a theory, and that's fine. If you're not sure about it, that's okay. Just treat what I'm about to say as 3 different attitudes or ways of behaving, and it will make sense. So the first set of skills are those of the warrior. The warrior is strong, powerful, goal-oriented and achievement-driven. And we get those attitudes from ancestors who would have fought for what they wanted. So if you think Romans, Vikings, or any warlike people. The second set of skills comes from our peaceful settler ancestors who would have formed communities and farmed the land. They're compliant and friendly and can be risk averse. Settlers tend not to like change and can get stuck in their ways. The third is our nomad ancestors, and they give us creativity and our sense of fun, perhaps even a little bit of irresponsibility from time to time. If you ever want to run away, that could well be your nomad side showing up. I'm a big nomad, I often want to run away. Now, we're all a unique mixture of these styles, but we often don't realise that we have strengths and skills that we never use. And that may be because our warrior and nomad characteristics are diluted by our upbringing and education. And I see this a lot in women. Women tend to think that they are settlers because we're conditioned to be nice and look after other people and take care and watch out what other people think. And what that means is we may play down our warrior and nomad sides more than you would expect. So if you were ever told not to be so loud, or don't be stroppy, or children should be seen and not heard, there's a good chance your settler is reining in your warrior and your nomad. And when you let your warrior and your nomad loose, that's when you have fun. yesterday, this is some real-time feedback. I had an email from a client. She was stuck in her career. She wanted to make progress, but found that her settler was really holding her back. So we did some work on this, and she's taken a big step forward by winning a massive towards promotion by winning a place on a hugely prestigious leadership development program. And this is what she sent me yesterday. Her settler was telling her not to do it. She wouldn't get on, and what was the point? And she'd only mess it up if she did. She put a warrior in charge and passed a very rigorous set of criteria to get on the course. So it's absolutely fantastic. So leaving that aside, what does this mean for you as a small business owner? Well, many of the problems that we have in our businesses and also in our personal lives stem from an inner conflict where your warrior, settler and nomad can't reach agreement or want completely different things. And so here's a situation you may well recognize. How much to charge? It's something that comes up over and over again in the work I do with clients. They don't know how to price their services. So if you think about you're launching a new product or service and you just don't know how to price it properly, you just can't decide. So this is what might be happening. Your warrior's saying, just go for it, charge as much as you can, make loads of money, smash the competition. We're going to go global this time next year. The settler side is probably saying something like, oh, be careful, don't put people off, don't overcharge. What about those people who want to buy from you but may not be able to afford it? People will think you're getting above yourself. People will think you're too expensive. You start to get all those messages. So immediately you've got a conflict. Your warrior's saying, charge charge whatever you can, go for it. Settler, hang on a minute. Your nomad is probably thinking, this is boring, who cares, just give it away. Let's go and do something more interesting. So there you are in your own head. And some of you are laughing, so I'm guessing you're recognizing this sort of scenario. So what do? You know, you're stuck. You're running scenarios and ideas through your brain. You're playing out conversations that may never happen. And you just can't make your mind up. You're completely stuck. So what do? Okay, it's simple. You find a way to reconcile those three different points of view. So your warrior will be happy with you charging a bit more than market rate. That means you're ahead of the crowd. You're doing something better than other people. You're going to be more successful because you're charging more. That's okay. The settler will also be okay with that because you're broadly in line with everybody else, and you're not taking the proverbial, you're not exploiting your customers, you're not putting your head too far above the parapet. Your nomad probably isn't that bothered, but is quite happy that there's money to spend. So all sides would be happy if you benchmark your prices, charge slightly above market rate, problem solved. Okay. Now, the trouble is we never have these conversations in our head with the three different sides of us. We never allow them to fully articulate what they think and to speak up. So that's what we're going to do right now. Over to you. Okay. So I'd just like you to think of a challenge that you're facing in your business right now. It might be an issue that you're playing with. It might be a question you have. It might be something that's just bothering you. Big or small, it really doesn't matter. Just note it down. Okay, and I'll just give you a few seconds to do that. Some of you are still scribbling, so I'll give you another few seconds. Okay. Looks like you're all about there. So next, just take a breath in and tap into that strong, forceful, achievement-driven side of you. your warrior side. What does your inner warrior think you should do? Now, let loose on this one. Don't worry about upsetting anybody. Don't worry about what other people think. It's just, you know, if it's completely up to you and you're not going to harm anybody, what would you do? You're just allowing that forceful side of you to have a say and express itself. So you might find that you're a bit shocked about what your warrior comes up with. It might be something like smash the competition. It would be strong, powerful, and about winning. And just note that down. Okay, some of you have finished, some haven't, so we'll move on to the next thing. Now, when you've got what your warrior wants to do noted down, again, just take a deep breath in, just maybe glance out the window, just clear your head for a second, and then think about your settler side. Your settler side is compliant and risk averse. What does that think you should do? Now, there's a good chance that your settler and warrior will be in conflict straight away. That's okay, but don't start arguing in your head. Focus on what your settler thinks and write it down. Your warrior side's had its say. So just focus on that risk averse, keeping people happy side of you. What does it think you should do about the problem? Okay, looks like most of you are there. So again, just take a deep breath, glance out the window or look away for a second just to clear your head. And then think of your fun, frivolous and creative side, the side that's looking forward to those drinks at 4:30 this afternoon. What does your inner nomad want to do about this problem? Now, there's every chance your nomad has a completely different solution and it may seem a bit off the wall. Again, that's okay. Don't shoot it down. Just let your nomad side tell you what it thinks. So creative, irresponsible, fun. Just jot that down as well. Can spot the nomads on this because they finished. It's like, oh yeah, it's obvious we do this. Yes, Nikki, I'm looking at you. Perfect. Okay, so now look at the three options you've come up with. Where's the common ground? There will be something that they have in common. So what can be tweaked? What's the solution that they can all live with? Now, maybe and this is where you compromise. So maybe your warrior side will need to dial things down a little bit. Maybe your settler will have to trust the warrior on this. So, and perhaps your nomad has a very creative way of solving the problem. So maybe a compromise would be to test the idea for a short period of time, see what happens, or maybe it's to limit it in some other way. So just test market it or offer it to a certain group of people. So think about what they can agree on and find the middle ground. And when you've got it, write it down and write down the one small thing that you can do to start to move forward. if you're stuck and you've got a question, feel free to ask. Anybody want to share anything that they've come up with? You don't have to.
My nomad was really unhelpful. He just said to me, have a party.
That's classic nomad, classic nomad. Did the others overrule him?
Yeah.
And did they manage to agree on a solution?
I think so. It's really interesting. I love multiplicity. So yeah, I think I've come to perhaps a webinar rather than a party.
Maybe a party after the webinar.
Yeah.
or sip some champagne while you're doing the webinar. That might work as well. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Catherine. Anybody else want to share anything?
My nomad said have a party as well, but I decided to listen to the creative idea and thought I could trust the warrior and maybe employ a freelancer, and then we could have a party together.
Hey, and that'll keep your settler happy because you're involving other people. So that's beautiful, really lovely. Yeah, great stuff. Anybody else want to share or got any questions? We've got a few minutes.
I actually I thought it was really useful, to be honest. Actually, thanks for that. I actually found that there was that common thread, and that's what I liked about it. Even though you're looking at it from different perspectives, there was that common ground. And when it wasn't until you said that toward the end that I realised almost like that was the point of it, because you can find compromise. And I think going through it and lifting the three different viewpoints out in that way, there was definitely that consistency through them, albeit they were just expressed in different ways. So actually, it's almost like a negotiation with yourself, isn't it? You can say, you know, that's what I need. That's what I should be doing. And actually, if I do it in this way, there's probably something there that suits all three viewpoints. So no, it was good. It was really
yeah. When I use it in sessions with clients, we sometimes hold a meeting in the client's head in a location of their choice, and we actually have a conversation with the three different parts. And what you find is you can actually resolve some quite complex problems just by allowing them all to speak freely about what they want. Because often, as I said, we often kind of suppress some of our more extreme instincts because we were taught that being too warrior can make you a bit obnoxious, so don't do that, it's not very nice. So what we find is we rein them in, but we rein them in too much, to the point where we forget that we've got these resources available to us. And actually, just by reconnecting with them, you can gain great insight, and complex problems can suddenly seem quite straightforward. So it's a really, I do some really deep therapy using this. It's a really, really powerful tool. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just touch on the last slide. Okay, so if you're interested in this, if you like it, you'd like to explore it a bit further, I've got an offer. You can have your own quite in-depth WSM profile plus a one-to-one debrief for just £95. That's a 20% discount. For joining me today, I really appreciate it. Like Catherine, I was a bit worried nobody was going to show up. So it's great that you've shown up and engaged, and it will give you loads of insights. It will help you understand yourself better and what's holding you back, and we can probably solve a problem in that one session. So if you're interested, just let me know. Otherwise, if nobody's got any questions, we'll wrap it up there, and thank you for joining me.
I just want to say that was brilliant, Jackie, really well led. It's quite a hard thing to do, getting everybody thinking in their own way. That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, deep
Thanks,
stuff,
Nikki.
Jackie. Thanks.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
You're very
Thank you, Jackie.
welcome. My warrior was in
Thank you.
charge. Okay, well, thanks guys, and I'll see you later on then. Thank you. Bye
See you
bye.
later.